Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio. We will not have Michael Bullock or Didi Woodson here tonight. However, there is a chance we might have a Bruins beat a little bit later tonight. So if for all you hockey fans out there, stay tuned. It will probably be later in the evening. However, for myself and Anthony Florio, you guys know what's about to go down. We're talking about AEW Dynamite, and we're also talking about NXT here tonight. And we're not gonna waste any time anymore. We're just gonna dive right in, and we're gonna start off with AEW Dynamite. And we started it off with a 12-man tag. It was Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page, FTR, the Young Bucks. They went up against the Dark Order. It was Brody Lee, Colt Cabana, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, 5 and 9. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 17 minutes and 30 seconds was the Dark Order. They get the victory on this match. This was total, pure, and utter chaos. I mean, this was nuts. As this is as good of a match that you could have done. This really was very interesting to watch. It was chaotic. It was nutty. Everybody played their roles great. This is easily 4 to 4.25 stars. I don't think there's any other way I could even sum it up. Anthony Florio, this was, you want to talk about red hot starts. This was like steaming hot, like summer night hot.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, MF. You're absolutely right. You know what? I'm actually going to take it a step further. I'm going to, as the great Emeril Lagasse always likes to say, I'm going to kick it up a notch on this. This, to me, was the fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give this 4 to 4.25 stars as well. MF, you absolutely got the rating correct on this one. That's exactly what I was thinking. There was a ton happening here, but all of it hit big time. The injury to Harwood took FTR out of the equation and essentially spared them defeat. It also continued to plant the seeds for Hangman Adam Page to join them and potentially Cody and Arn Anderson in a new faction in AEW. Throw in the constant distrust between Page and Omega, and you have a layered story on the babyface side of things. Over on the Dark Order side, you had Mr. Brody Lee letting his minions do the work for him, then set the table for Colt Cabana to score the win in an attempt to keep up his recruitment to the faction. When that did not happen, he took matters into his own hands, capitalized on a miscommunication spot, and earned a major breakthrough victory for the Dark Order. Fantastic way to kick off the night's show and proof that AEW's tag team division is hitting on all cylinders right now. I can go as far as to say, you want to talk about the best tag team division in any promotion right now? AEW's tag team division, I got to say, is hands down the best. I mean, better than any tag team on Monday Night Raw, better than any tag team on Friday Night SmackDown, better than any tag team in NXT, better than any tag team in Impact, Ring of Honor. Maybe the closest would be New Japan. I don't know. But
No, New Japan would beat AEW any day of the week. I think that's the only company that would stop at AEW would be New Japan, and there's only one team that would basically bona fide stop anybody in their tracks, and that's Gorillas of Destiny, GOA. That's the team of all teams. They're the best in the world, better than the Young Bucks, better than FTR, better than any team in the world. Gorillas of Destiny, the IWGP World Tag Team Champions.
Okay, I stand corrected. So, with the exception of New Japan, we'll probably say they're the second best when it comes to the tag team divisions right now. Although you've got some great teams in all those promotions, so we'll have to wait and see on that. So, but anyways, 4 to 4.25 stars. This, without for me, this was the fight of the night. I mean, there was one other match on this show that that was almost there, but not quite. So we'll let you know when that is. But for right now, 4 to 4.25. MF, you nailed it. This was the fight of the night. I'm sure you agree with me on that. Let's move on.
Oh yeah, I'll give you the fight of the night honors, no doubt about it. You're absolutely right. And actually, I think I might have been wrong on who the IWGP World Tag Team Champions are. Just so while I'm doing my research on that, Anthony, I'm gonna set you up for the next match, which was the Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz, and the Best Friends wins the match in roughly 14 minutes. So Anthony, it's all yours, my friend.
Yeah. I got to say this was. I probably would say this was the third best fight of the night here. I'm going to give this about 3.25, 3.5 stars. This was a really good, solid tag team match with strong psychology and a surprising outcome. Trent and Chucky T have been the breakout stars of the tag division this year and continued their role with this win. Whether they have any chance of actually winning the World Tag Team Championship with the wealth of talent elsewhere in this division remains to be seen. But they figure to hang around the title picture for the foreseeable future. Somewhat surprising is the continued inconsistency with Santana and Ortiz's booking. They have fallen off considerably since February, a point made by Jim Ross on commentary prior to the bout. Why and whether they can rebuild momentum for themselves is the question they must answer going forward. So that's something to think about on that. So I'm going to say 3.25 to 3.5 stars. I'm going to say this was the third best fight of the night for me. This was not the other match that I was considering for fight of the night honors, not yet. So really nothing more for me to say on this. I don't know if MF finished his research yet, but if he has, then we'll give it back to him on this.
All right. No, I had something going on here. This was a solid fight. This was about a good 3.25. This was about a good 3-star match. I thought this was a solid body of work, and to solidify that thing I was talking about for the New Japan tag team thing, I actually was mistaken. Gorillas of Destiny are 6-time IWGP World Tag Team Champions, but they recently lost the belts to Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi, the Golden Aces. They lost the belt on February 21st. However, the current champions is Tagashi and Zack Sabre Jr., the Dangerous Takers. They won the belts at Dominion in Osaka, which was on July 12th, which is oddly enough the same night that Evil became the double champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So there you go. So Takashi and Zack Sabre Jr. are currently your IWGP World Tag Team Champions, but Gorillas of Destiny are by far in the history of the company, they are without a doubt considered the best tag team in the world. And as a matter of fact, their reigns has been, just a combined 6 tag team title reigns, 9 defenses, a combined total of 607 days as IWGP World Tag Team Champions. So that basically puts them in very high regards and in an elite class. In a very elite class. But the greatest champions in New Japan was Tenzin and Masahiro Chono. Even though they were 5-time IWGP Tag Team Champions, they had the belts. They defended the title successfully 12 times in their career, and a total combined of 1,010 days as IWGP World Tag Team Champions. So that's just a little bit of the side note. That was just for all you IWGP fans out there that loves the wrestling knowledge and, go a little bit into our. It's not every day that I get to go into professor mode on this, so there you go. Uh, then a whole bunch of promo segments after that. Then we started with a tag team match, as it was Cody and Matt Cardona versus John Silver and Alex Reynolds. Cody and Matt Cardona wins the match in 11 minutes and 55 seconds. Solid match. Good battle. 3 stars. Solid 3 for me. I really think it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. But it looks like now Cody's got a new challenger for the TNT title, and it's gonna be Scorpio Sky of SCU. So that could be an interesting matchup to say the very least. So 3 stars for me. It was a solid fight. Anthony, it's yours.
And oh, by the way, MF, that TNT Championship match with Cody and Scorpio Sky, we don't have to wait long. We're gonna get that sucker next week.
There you go.
So get ready for a possible show stealer. That's all I can say on that. So, anywho, I agree with MF's rating. This was a solid 3 stars, 4th best fight of the night. This was a solid, if unspectacular, match that did what it set out to do. Spotlight Matt Cardona in his first match with the company. What it did that was not necessarily expected was put over Silver and Reynolds in a big spot. The underutilized team looked fantastic, in many ways better than their opponents. They were crisp, showed some above average in-ring chemistry, and really stood out in a bout that definitely intended to be about the opposition. Cardona has always been a solid worker without much of an opportunity to prove himself in a sustained high-profile role. That appears to be on its way to changing, and that is a very good thing for the performer and his fans. Scorpio Sky approached Cody after the match and insinuated that he would be challenging for the TNT Championship next. That is a great booking decision and one that should result in a great match between one of the company's EVPs and one of its breakout stars of year one. So definitely a lot to get into there. So solid 3 stars. It was the 4th best fight in the night. I agree with that. So there's really nothing more to say except MF, the segment of the night. Oh, and look who showed up to be a part of this. I mean, I heard rumors about this. I didn't want to say anything. I wanted to go for that surprise everybody factor. So I'm glad I didn't say anything about this. I'm sure when you heard about this and you saw this, your jaw hit the floor just like everybody else's, except for me because I knew in advance.
Well, no, because I've heard rumblings, and I was like, I'll when I see it, but I believe it. I saw it. Yes, it was the debate between Fred Squeeze, Orange County, and Cristo with official moderator, the moderator of all controversy equal cash, Eric Bischoff in AEW. He showed up, much to the delight of everybody in the room. Very nostalgia moment. It's been over 20 years since Eric Bischoff has been in that on TNT with WCW. So this was very reminiscent of a Monday Nitro moment, or you can say very shrewd move for AEW to do this. Anthony, this was all over the place, but it was very entertaining.
All over the place in a good way. That's what MF meant. But anyways, yes, there was the dirt sheets came out that and the rumors went around that Eric Bischoff was going to be the moderator, and sure enough, the rumors were true. And we got to see Eazy-E, Eric Bischoff, back on TNT for the first time in 20 years, as noted by Tony Schiavone on commentary. Tony Schiavone saying that it was the first time in 20 years that Bischoff had been on TNT. He said it was in the summer of 2000. it was obviously on an episode of WCW Monday Nitro, obviously, just before that went belly up. But anyways, say what you want about the segment. I'm sure there's going to be some detractors on this one. I'm sure there's going to be some haters on this one. Not me. This was the segment of the night. I mean, I saw this live, and this was wow. Orange Cassidy doesn't talk, but when he did, it sure as hell made an impact. The global warming topic was a fun insight into the mindset of Cassidy. But the go-home promo he cut on Jericho was fantastic. It set the stage, told the story, and gave fans who might be unfamiliar with the story the lowdown on the characters at play here. Eric Bischoff was great in his role. Chris Jericho hit every note just right, and the result was a promo segment that was exponentially better than expected. And next week's match will be damn special if Cassidy and Jericho can build on everything that has come before it. And I'm going to make a bold prediction right here and now. Considering that Jericho won the first time, and considering that Jericho and Jake Hager got the best of Cassidy at the end of this segment, I'm going to go on the record. Put me on the record for this. I don't care. I'm going on the record. Bold prediction. I'm predicting Orange Cassidy is going to win next week. Period. And the statement and the quotation. MF, it's yours. Segment of the night, hands down. MF? I don't know what happened to MF, but there he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm on. I was on the whole time. I don't know what happened. All right, but I was gonna was Cassidy. Cassidy was all along beyond wrestling. Everybody knows his style, his attitude. He's nonchalant. He's always he goes with the flow. He reminds me of like a younger version of RVD from back in the day, especially ECW, early WWE days. He has that attitude, like I'm just gonna kick back. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm just gonna enjoy what I'm doing. But when he needs to be serious, he can be serious, and he can give you entertaining stuff. Now, like you said, there's going to be detractors. A lot of people are not going to like this, and they won't. But this was thoroughly entertaining in the sense that it told a great story, it told a great message, and I never ever thought that Orange Cassidy was going to go as political as he did with the global warming comment. That really opened my eyes. Like, not many things have opened my eyes recently, but trust me, from what I've been, for all the wrestling that we've done, and to hear it in a perspective like that, dude, that's an eye-opener. And I think that caught you, Florio, and caught me. And yeah, now that's got me very excited for what's going to go down next week between Jericho and Orange Cassidy. And I do agree. I think Cassidy will win this match. He will embarrass Jericho because I think there's going to be a rubber match sometime down the line. Now, I don't know if that's going to be at All Out, where at the pay-per-view, where they might go one more time just to settle it. So I don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, this was a big deal. Big deal. Next up we had, well, unfortunately we're not going to talk about this one. This was basically the worst fight of the night and an absolute snoozer. Because it was Big Swole versus Rebby. And Big Swole wins the match in a $140. Yeah, that was kind of nothing more to add. I mean, it was rough. Rebel, I love the girl, but
Not
no. Huh?
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but
no.
There was only one good thing that came out of this. Only one.
Britt Baker.
In the MJ jersey. Come on.
Yeah. Britt Baker in dusting off, talking herself like she's the GOAT.
Oh.
Putting the Michael Jordan Chicago Bull 23 jersey, but it was a custom made Dr. Britt Baker jersey with the bull lettering. Yeah, I know. I saw the outfit. I know what it is. I've seen it.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, no, Rebel has never been a good worker, not even in TNA. Sorry.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but I absolutely agree with you. This she's still a work in progress, and she's still got to get better. And she's gonna have her detractors, and there's definitely a lot of them, including Florio. And I'm not gonna disagree. She was all right in Impact Wrestling. Hasn't really done much in AEW yet. She's a good lackey, but that's all she is. If she doesn't get a niche really soon, she might get lost in the shuffle in AEW because even the women's division is starting to rise a little bit, but it's nowhere near the level of like NXT or even WWE right now. Sorry, I'm just gonna say it. That's the one division that's lacking in AEW is the women's division. Um, so nothing more to say. Main event: Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin for the AEW World Heavyweight title. Mox wins the match, 14 minutes and 30 seconds, successfully defending the title, and more importantly, we now have the main event for All Out. It will be Jon Moxley putting the AEW World Heavyweight title on the line against MJF. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This was a great main event. Solid main event. Really good match. 3.5 to 4. Second best fight of the night. But the outcome was not really in any doubt. I don't think anybody was going to say that Darby Allin was going to win the title. But it was a good, hard fight. It was a good, hard-nosed match. This was a be-a-man fight, without a doubt. And it was a solid main event. I enjoyed the match. The psychology was great. But the outcome was never in doubt. The paradigm shift to score the win. Moxley still the champion, well deservingly, and now he's got basically the brashest, the biggest loudmouth in the company, MJF, to deal with, and let the road to All Out begin, because that's where that collision course is going to start, and that's going to be one hell of a title match, no doubt about it. So, second best fight of the night, 3.5 to 4. Anthony, it's yours.
What was the time of the fall, MF? Did you get that?
14:30.
14:30, 14 and a half. Okay. I agree on that. Yeah, 3.5 to 4. You can make an argument for 3 3/4, but it was definitely within the 3.5 to 4 range. This was the other match that I was talking about that you could have made an argument for Fight of the Night Honors, but I think that 12-man tag was just a smidgen better. But this was great too. I mean, this was infinitely better than their first match, talking about Moxley and Allin. Darby Allin was the relentless challenger, showing the type of resiliency reserved for the industry's best heroes. He frustrated Jon Moxley throughout the match, driving the champion to demand that his challenger, quote unquote, stay down or tap when I tell you to tap. That did not happen, leaving Moxley with no other option than to deliver the very same paradigm shift that nearly broke Darby Allin's neck the last time they fought. Storytelling here elevated the match's overall quality, though the in-ring action itself was equally as strong. MJF interfering in an attempt to choose the man he would challenge at All Out was totally in character, especially for someone who has already spoken so much trash on Moxley as it is. Everything about this worked, making it one of the better main events in recent weeks. And I feel good about what I'm about to say, considering that Michael Bullock's not here. So MF and we can get away with a little bit of some murder here. We're going to say something that's going to, I'm sure, not only piss him off, but piss off a lot of people. But then again, that's what we do here. So you're looking at the next World Heavyweight Champion. Mm-hmm. All out. MJF is going to win the belt, like it or not.
The most braggadocious, the most egotistical, the most cynical son of a bitch in all of AEW, who gives 0 Fs. Just like Jon Moxley, just like you, Florio. Uh-huh. But the thing is, He'll blatantly do it into your face. He'll go up to you and mock you. He'll go up to you and disparage you. He'll go up to you and he'll rip you, your mother, your father, any part of your family. If you have a girlfriend, he'll mock her too and doesn't give a damn about it. He'll say it right to your face and basically blast you out of here from Kingdom Come. And that's what MJF is. He is a dick personified inside the ring, outside the ring. He doesn't give a damn who you are, what you're about. He is without a doubt the perfect heel, a nuclear heat type heel, X-Pac, you name it. X-Pac heat. That's what he brings each and every time. And what makes him so unique is he is young. Maxwell Jacob Freeman is, I believe, only 22, 23 years old. This guy is the future of wrestling. And he could become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And it doesn't hurt to be really tight with Cody and with Brandy Rhodes. He is wicked tight with them. That could be enough to get him over the top. So who knows? But Mox is Mox. Is gonna go down with the sword. He will die by the sword if it has to. He will not let that belt go away. He'll go through hell and high water to keep the belt. So this is gonna be an epic championship match. No doubt about it.
Okay, so and the All Out pay-per-view is definitely shaping up. I mean, we're obviously gonna see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Jericho and Cassidy match. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara. I wouldn't be surprised on that either. And whatever else they decide to throw at us.
Now there is the rumor about Britt Baker being back by All Out. If she does, I think that could be her and Big Swole. Yeah, her and Big Swole could have a match. And then, obviously, you're going to want to have the women's title on the line. The tag team titles will be on the line. The TNT title will be on the line. So, I'm guessing all the titles will be out there for this event. So, we'll have to wait and see about contenders and whoever. But at least we do have at least that much going for us at the moment.
1 month, exactly 1 month from today.
Yep.
Saturday night, September 5th. So, great way to kickstart your Labor Day weekend. That's all I know. So.
As of now, it was set for Chicago. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. You know, obviously.
It'll probably be at Dailies. I wouldn't be surprised.
Possibly. Or maybe they might be able to find a location that they could agree on.
Just like WWE may have for SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because
awesome. I'd love to see it.
Because it looks like WWE does have a place. It sounds like it could be Atlantic City. Well, you know what? The hell with it. We'll spoil it. The rumor going around, and this started from Uncle Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer. Earlier this week. Actually, on Monday, this broke, that possibly WWE was looking at the Boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey for SummerSlam. Now, Boardwalk Hall is right there. And we all know Boardwalk Hall was the home of WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5. Which is adjacent to the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, but they didn't want to mention it as Boardwalk Hall because, you know, that was just kind of their thing. But they had 2 WrestleManias there. They had a Monday Night Raw, and they've had some events, you know, at that place. But recently, a couple of independent wrestling companies, GCW and some other companies, have done shows at the world famous Boardwalk in Atlantic City. WWE was like, well, maybe we could do something with it. You know, they would talk about doing it on a beachfront type of location. Maybe do it on the famous boardwalk in Atlantic City. That would be a perfect spot. And they did allude that it was going to be a northeast city. So why not? Now, as far as fans or limited fans, we don't know how that's going to play out. We only know is that SummerSlam was originally going to be in Boston. Boston said, nope, you're not doing it here because of COVID. WWE was forced out. Because trust me, they wanted to do Boston, and quite frankly, I wanted it in Boston. Florio wanted it in Boston. Bullock wanted it in Boston.
We all wanted
So
to go.
we all wanted it to go. We were setting it up.
Hell
We
yeah.
were planning tickets. We were setting it up to get tickets for SummerSlam. And then everything just went hell in a handbasket. I actually just talked to somebody very recently that she and somebody that's close to her already had tickets. They were coming to Boston for SummerSlam. And
Oh,
she was absolutely heartbroken.
I'm blaming.
Heartbroken
I'm
that
blaming.
that SummerSlam was off the table. Now we're hearing about maybe Atlantic City, maybe. Now I know that might not work for me, Florio or Bullock, because that's a little bit out of our jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Plus now with the COVID-19 thing going on,
Yeah.
if we leave the state, we gotta self quarantine for 14 days.
Well, I got
Nope.
things to do.
Huh?
I got things to do. I can't do that. I
Yep.
can't do that now.
Nope. Sorry. X
Thank you.
ain't happening.
Nope.
Like, we can't even do that. So, unless they bring it to Rhode Island, then we might consider. But no, 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 no.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. Hopefully next year they'll do it back in Boston. Hopefully,
It would be
because that's
fair.
what they were saying, that um we heard that Tampa might get WrestleMania not next year but the year after.
Yes.
Maybe WWE throws us a bone and say, come, we'll give you another shot at this for SummerSlam. Please don't be mad at us for WWE for pulling the plug on you guys for SummerSlam. But we wanted it. We want it. Like, so hopefully you guys throw us a bone and give us SummerSlam again. So
Yeah.
all right.
So, but anyways, to wrap it up before it really gets out of control, um, 3.5 to 4 for that main event. Incredible main event. I mean, a great world title match, and there were a couple of spots where it looked like Allen was actually going to win the belt. I mean, when he hit that first coffin drop, the referee's hand was right there, and I'm like, oh my god! And then I'm like, okay, but I do agree with you. The outcome was never in doubt. We knew Moxley was going to go over. MJF and Moxley, that's the next big money world title match, and All Out when it goes down. And thankfully, Bullock's not here. We can get away with it. MJF's going to win the belt, whether you like it or not. Done. Move on.
I could only imagine what's gonna happen when Michael Bullock hears this playback.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine what Bullock's going to do when MJF wins the belt.
Oh God!
You think you already know how pissed you already know, friends. You already know how pissed Bullock is about the whole Bailey and Sasha thing. Imagine how pissed he's going to be with MJF becoming the next AEW World.
God! Yeah.
His eyeballs are going to pop out of his head. He's going to have those bulgy. He's going to have those raging veins. It's not going to be a pretty sight. Good thing we don't have cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. More than just the Michael Bullock I can't take it face, he is going to implode, and I know that will not be a pretty sight the day that happens. So, well, yeah, nothing more to say. Overall review, just final thoughts on the show. Anthony, why don't you lead off on this, because you're supposed to lead off on this anyway.
Oh, okay. Great show. Great show here. I got to give this about Oh, let me see. If I were to put a rating on this based on the body of work of everything, we had 4 quality matches. We had 2 solid promo segments. We only had 1 bad match on this show. I could probably give this about I could probably give this like a 9, maybe a 9.5 out of 10. It was that good. I mean, very good stuff. I mean, 12-man tag. That was the fight of the night, no doubt about it. Um, well, I'm not gonna say no doubt about it because the main event, the world title match, was fantastic as well. Then we had that solid tag match with the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. That was very good. That other match with Cody and Matt Cardona against Silver and Reynolds. All 4 of those matches were 3 stars or higher, and that's usually the recipe for a very good show. Throw in that incredibly entertaining debate segment with Jericho and Cassidy. I mean, those two were great enough, but they throw in one of the greatest wrestling minds in history in Eric Bischoff. I mean, as the moderator. I mean, that put that even more over the top. And even that segment with Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara wasn't even that bad. I mean, especially the brawl. I mean, Matt Hardy was bleeding like a stuffed pig, like Ricky Starks did on the last week. But all those matches delivered. Those 2 segments were solid, and the Hardy and Guevara segment, was solid and all that, and we had only 1 cutout bad fight, 1 dud fight, but other than that, I mean, everything else delivered. Those 4 matches, the debate segment, you could make an argument for segment of the year because that's how great it was. So 9 and 9.5. I could probably say this was the best AEW of 2020 so far. And if you thought tonight was good, wait till you see what we have in store for you next week. I mean, Cody against Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. FTR's tag team appreciation night with those couple of tag matches that they have, and the Rock and Roll Express are going to be there, as well as Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. Horsemen, guys, come on now. I mean, MF and I and Bullock and Derek. I mean, we're the modern day 4 Horsemen, and seeing Arn and Tully together, I mean, that's an instant mark out moment for me, considering how much I love the old 4 Horsemen. We all do, and then throw in Jericho and Cassidy on top of it. I mean, you thought tonight was good. Next week could be just as good, if not better. So, oh man, I'm already excited for next week's show. So sorry, NXT, you're going on the back burner again next week. I watched more AEW this week, and I'm glad I did. Thoroughly entertained. So if I were to put a rating on it, it would be 9 to 9.5. So best show of the year for me. So really nothing more to say. MF. Couple of weeks of okay AEW shows, but tonight they more than made up for those last couple of weeks of blast shows.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I've been very critical of AEW for the last couple of weeks, but nah, man, they had me eating some humble pie tonight, man. They served me a couple of slices on that one. This was a damn good show. It's really strong, really solid. 9 out of 10 if we were doing an official rating on this. AEW just did not do anything wrong tonight. I mean, they absolutely hit it out of the ballpark. The only downside, like you said, was the Rebel versus Big Swole. Other than that, the rest of the show was solid. It was amazing. So, nothing more to add. Let's go into NXT. We started off with the number 1 contenders for the NXT Women's title, as it was Dakota Kai versus Rhea Ripley, winner of the bout in 15 minutes and 48 seconds. Was Dakota Kai winning the match? Okay. This would have been a higher rating if Raquel Gonzalez did not get involved in the fight.
It was not Raquel Gonzalez. It was Mercedes Martinez.
It was Mercedes Martinez. I stand corrected. So, Mercedes, obviously we know what happened here. This is that Robert Stone Incorporated, Mercedes Martinez, the cyborg, goes out to mess with Rhea because Remember, she said no to Robert Stone. So basically, what came back was basically to rule the roost. Duh. All right, this was a damn good fight. This was going to be fight of the night level if it wasn't for that mess up at the end for the interference. I can only give it 3.5 stars. This was a 4-star level fight, but a 3.5 star match. And Rhea Ripley went from being and this is another thing that the person that I talked to recently, she made a very valid point. Rhea Ripley was the face of the company, really the face of the women's division, top star, the champion, everything else. But ever since WrestleMania, it's like she's vanished. It's like she was. I'm gonna say it was like she went from Goku of Dragon Ball Z, all powerful. You can't stop the person. Like she's so powerful. She went all the way to Yu-Gi-Oh, and now she's like caught in the shadow realm. Like you don't know where she's at right now. We don't. This is not the same Rhea Ripley. Now, okay, there was a lot going on in her career, not just personally, but professionally. Everybody knows about the visa issue. She had that issue with the visa. The visa was running out. She might have to go back to Australia to get it reissued and everything else. And they were able to get that situated. She was back, better than ever. Maybe there was an injury. Maybe they had nothing for her. But she went from being NXT Women's Champion now to be almost downgraded or relegated into a story with Robert Stone's crew. I mean, don't get me wrong. Her and Mercedes Martinez is going to be one hell of a match. And that's going to be a nice storyline. But oh, how the mighty has fallen, man. That's all I got to say. I'm a little annoyed tonight, especially with this moment. And I know if Bullock was here, he probably would be harping on this, flipping out. Because you know how hard he was on how much he loves Rhea Ripley. Like he was gushing about her, about being his NXT Women's Champion. But everything went boom when she tapped out to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. I don't know, bros. I don't know, folks. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Oh, how this is a perfect. Oh, how the mighty have fallen story. I mean, I'm gonna pull out another gorilla-ism here for MF, because he is our gorilla after all. When Rhea lost the title, wouldn't you say, MF, that Bullock, quote unquote, like Gorilla would say, lost his meal ticket? I mean, that's what it is. So,
in a way, yes, agreed.
That's a perfect gorilla-ism right there. The whole lost the meal ticket thing. But anywho, yeah, I mean, Rhea had what a fall from grace. I mean, you go back to last December, 1 week before Christmas, mind you, a week before Christmas. Christmas came a week early for Rhea Ripley when Rhea Ripley defeated who I consider the greatest and most dominant NXT Women's Champion ever in Shayna Baszler on live TV with a crowd, mind you. This was pre-COVID, and in that infamous mosh pit at the end of the show when all the fans jumped into the ring and celebrated with her, which was an epic moment. Maybe the greatest ending to an NXT TV taping of all time. But man, ever since she lost the title to Charlotte at WrestleMania, in what I personally consider to this day still, which is now for me the greatest women's wrestling match in WrestleMania history. I mean, that was a 4.5-star match in my eyes. I mean, because that was a damn good match. But anyways, 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. This was a fantastic opener that got its time. Ripley and Dakota Kai have chemistry together and have already figured out the best story they can tell together. The captain of Team Kick focused on wearing down the larger woman with kicks and technical holds, allowing her to look dangerous next to one of the best in NXT. Both are fantastic, and the right woman won, in a way. Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai will be a great match, while Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez is a feud that can define NXT for many coming months. The two will destroy everything in their path to get to each other. You want to talk about a hoss fight? When and if that match goes down with Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez, maybe at TakeOver 30, maybe on a TakeOver TV, I don't know, we'll see, or an NXT TV rather. Doesn't matter when it goes down. When it goes down, Rhea and Martinez, let me tell you, that is going to be a woman fight. That's going to be a hoss fight and then some. So that's all I can say on that. 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. One of the fights of the night. So I know we said a lot, so let's move on, MF.
All right, so after all that, then we have Bronson Reed versus Shane Thorne. Bronson Reed wins the match in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Anthony, he keeps the momentum going as he's heading for that big date for the NXT North American title.
Yeah. This was all right for me. I'll probably give this about 1.5 to 2 for the effort. It was nice to see Shane Thorne working at full capacity again, even in a squash. This was a fun sprint that highlighted why the heel should be used more. It also continued to build Bronson Reed's momentum. The thick boy is a potential major talent. He just needs to show he can perform on the biggest stage. He is certainly making the most of each moment. He was not the focus of this contest, but he did what he needed to continue to look dominant. It is hard to say if he is the favorite at TakeOver 30 until the lineup is all set, but the black and gold brand is highlighting him in a big way. That's encouraging. This match, however, was not. 1.5 to 2, MF go.
Yeah, no, this is about. I'm gonna give it about 2 stars. I think this was about right. I thought this was pretty well, and there's really nothing more to add about that. So, next up we had was the triple threat match. This was a qualifier as it was Ridge Holland, Oni Lorcan, and Damian Priest. And when it was all said and done, Damian Priest punches his ticket to the NXT North American Championship ladder match. 6 minutes and 42 seconds. This was good. This was a fine old sprint. This was a solid match. I could say maybe second, third best fight of the night, but again, I gotta say, solid 3 stars for me. This was a really nice sprint. This was one of those, Anthony, that you would enjoy. Short, nice little sprint, but damn, did this go well.
Agreed. It is a 3-star match, but there is going to be a small little nitpick here. While a fun triple threat, this was not quite up to the bar set by the first clash. The story was hard to follow as each man just struck out repeatedly. Ridge Holland could have been the focus with his impressive debut, but he was cast aside for a returning contender in Damian Priest. The Archer of Infamy does not fit the typical mold of those in the ladder match. He already had multiple chances at the title when Keith Lee was the champion. However, it may be intentionally putting a favorite in this contest. Despite the finish, this was truly impressive work from the NXT UK star. Holland's fast and athletic. He has the strength and size to match up with anyone. He comes off as the ideal star from Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown over NXT's varied roster. So I'll leave it at that. So, solid 3 stars, but you got Priest in there, and you got Bronson Reed. We were supposed to have Dexter Lumis, but Dexter Lumis is now out because Dexter Lumis suffered an ankle injury. We didn't even know this, but he suffered an ankle injury, and it was at the hands of my new favorite wrestler in NXT, Timothy Thatcher. And man, he put a number on that ankle, and because of the severity of the injury, General Manager William Regal announced that Dexter Lumis will not be medically cleared in time. So Lumis is out, and that opens the door for next week, because I believe we're going to see Kushida in there against Cameron Grimes and a mystery opponent to be determined. And then there's going to be 2 last chance singles matches featuring the 4 the four men who were not pinned or submitted in the triple threat matches, including Johnny Gargano, including Finn Balor, and two other guys. So, and then those two winners will go into the ladder match for the North American Championship at Takeover 30. So a lot to make sense of there. So, but all in all, this was a solid 3 stars. I mean, you got to feel for Dexter Lumis. I mean, it's a damn shame that he had to, I mean, we didn't even know he got hurt, but he did get hurt. Timothy Thatcher was responsible. So who knows? That might jumpstart a feud between those two. I mean, if you put those two together, MF, there's a hoss fight waiting to happen.
Absolutely. We're going to have to wait and see what happens there. So, yeah, so next up, right after that, and yeah, they did mention about that big story. So after that, we had the NXT champion Keith Lee going one-on-one with Cameron Grimes. Keith Lee won the match in 8 minutes and 55 seconds. But then after the match was over, hello, Scarlett Bordeaux. I think it was on the Tron this time around, but it was also Karrion Kross. Another TikTok. The clock is about to run out. Anthony, solid performance by everybody involved.
Yeah, 3 to 3.25 stars. That's all I can give this. While Grimes has been treated as a title contender in the past, he was also set up as an afterthought in this story between Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. For me, I think this should have been more of a squash match, really. It kind of went a little too long for me. The Limitless One should have run over the Technical Savage easily to showcase his dominance. It would have made more sense for an angry Keith Lee to work on a high level than Cameron Grimes, defeating him within a couple minutes tops. This went 10 minutes too long. The dramatic aftermath of the contest left a far better impression than the contest itself, even if the match was well wrestled. But I will give it 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort. So MF Keith Lee should have been a little more dominant in this match, especially if you're going to put him against Kross.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I can't disagree, but I do love Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee, he wants to. I think they also want to make the guys that he does is good and strong. It's not that it's I don't think it's as bad as we thought, but I thought it was all right. I thought it was fine. So really nothing more to add. So next up we had was Tegan Nox versus Indy Hartwell. Tegan Nox wins the match in 3:03. We don't have to talk about that. It was solid. It was all right. Good match for Tegan Nox. She gets back on the winning track. And then the main event, as it was Matthew Barzell and Fabian Eichner. The thing is, match, my good friend McAfee was scary, and boy, it down. Him and Cole explode. A brawl break out. They had to bring the suit. And Shawn Michaels come out. This got chaotic. Took away from the main event. I don't understand. They could have done this earlier in the. They could have done this earlier in the night. They could have done this at any point in the show. Why would you do this in the main event? And why would you distract from a title match? Pat McAfee, you're my boy, and I do it for the brand. I'm for the brand. But you came off as a pompous ass on this one, bro. You did not win any fans tonight. I'm gonna tell you right now. They're booking you as a heel, and let me tell you, you're coming off as an asshole. That's what you are right now. So I don't know what the hell happened. Well, I saw what happened the first time around, but you definitely came off as an ass tonight. So there's really nothing more to say. Um, it looks like we might have Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee at NXT Takeover. Holy freaking crap! I can't believe that's happening. Please do not let this be like Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow WrestleMania 11. Please do not do that. I want at least something good. Anthony, go. And, oh, by the way, my rating's about 3 stars.
Yes, agreed. 3 stars. Um, I know you're nitpicking about this being in the main event spot. I'm sure you're thinking maybe the women's match could have been the main event. Maybe, I don't know, but for me, I didn't have a problem with this being the main event. I mean, when it comes to putting things in the main event spot, you do it because you want to make an impact. And I know Monday Night on Raw we did not get that and whatnot, but here, oh, we did. And this was a solid tag team match that many barely got a chance to watch clearly. Two of the best tag teams in the world right now went to war, and the focus was on an NFL punter kicking Adam Cole in the face. This story between Adam Cole and Pat McAfee is ridiculous and feels wrong for NXT. The black and gold brand is mostly no nonsense. While the NFL punter is athletic, he is not a wrestler and worked better as a part-time commentator rather than a potential competitor. The ending was more ridiculous than anything, selling McAfee's punt kick as so lethal that it could knock the former NXT champion out cold. This is the same wrestler that kicked out of multiple finishers a match during his historic 403-day reign as NXT champion. So, I mean, it wasn't a fun. I mean, what happened on Pat McAfee's radio show, I mean, that was fun. I will admit that. I had fun watching that. Especially Adam Cole dropping those F-bombs and the whole 9 yards. I mean, that was fun. But what happened here, different story. Even though there was a part of me that kind of enjoyed it, but I'll tell you this, folks. Anytime Triple H or Shawn Michaels gets involved, I mean, one of them is one thing, but if you get both of those legends involved, those Hall of Famers involved, you're asking for trouble. Because you know how Triple H and Shawn Michaels are, especially Triple H. I mean, did you see Triple H? Did you see what Triple H did? Did you see how hard he shoved Pat McAfee? He shoved him. I mean, that was cerebral assassin Triple H. That was not executive Triple H. That was the cerebral assassin Triple H.
He was pissed. He was mad.
Yeah. I mean, did you see that, MF? I mean, you're the Triple H guy, and you're the Triple H, and I'm the Shawn Michaels here. But I mean, man, he shoved him. I mean, I was like, whoa, man, damn, Hunter. Oh my goodness.
Well, because the thing is that
Awesome.
like, yeah, it was great.
I mean, you cannot tell that he's. I mean, Triple H just turned 51 years old. He's 51 years old, and he can still hit like that. Man, damn, he is impressive. He's a freak at 51. Oh my God. He's got years left in him. I'm telling you. But anyways, all kidding aside, I mean, it really took away from the match, which is a damn shame because Imperium and, Eichner and Bartel, along with O'Reilly and Fish, who MF knows more about those two than anybody, especially when they were in Ring of Honor as Team Red Dragon. I mean, I know MF could tell us stories among days about how good they were down there. But anyways, I mean, those are two of the best teams in the world, and they ended up being sidetracked because of Adam Cole and Pat McAfee, which is a damn shame. If you had put that aside, those two could have put on a clinic, but unfortunately, we ended up getting what we got. 3 stars, but imagine if you put the whole Cole and McAfee BS aside, this could have been a lot higher and a lot better because those 4 guys can work. Let me tell you. Nothing more to say, MF. Let's get into our final thoughts.
Final thoughts, and I'll lead it off on this one. This was actually a pretty good show. This was solid. It doesn't beat AEW.
No.
Obviously, AEW wins this one going away this week.
Yes.
This is actually, I'll give this about 7 out of 10 for NXT. I thought, like I said, it was a good show. There wasn't really many great moments, but it was solid enough. So 7 out of 10. Anthony, final thought.
Yeah, I agree. Just give me a moment here. I just want to make sure I have the correct rating for this. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's a 7. Not as good as AEW. AEW was far better. I mean, on this show, we only got maybe. Well, we had a few good matches here, but it was a quality night of wrestling. Nothing about the show was spectacular, even though Dakota Kai and Rhea Ripley was great. That being said, if the show flowed smoothly, nothing was overly bad, but we did have a couple of cutout matches. We had a couple of squash matches, and we did have some quality matches, but nowhere near the quality of AEW. Even though we did have some interesting developments, newsworthy show, especially what happened at the end. And I do agree, MF. I think we're going to get Adam Cole and Pat McAfee at Takeover 30, and if indeed that does go down, I'll go on the record. I don't think it's going to be LT and Bam Bam bad. Adam Cole could make anybody look good. He could make Pat McAfee look good for all I know. I mean, look who he made look good already, especially during that historic 403-day run as champion. I mean, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Velveteen Dream, Lee. I could go on and on and on about how many people he has made look good. I mean, Cole next to Johnny Gargano is Mr. Takeover. And if he can do that with all those guys, him and McAfee could end up being a sleeper fight of the night. You never know. I know you have doubts, and that's fine. But like we always like to say, give it a chance. I'm definitely going to give it a chance, especially your boy McAfee, because I know how much you love McAfee. Even though you didn't like what he did tonight, I can understand. But 7 out of 10, I 100% agree with the rating. AEW wins this going away. Far and away the better show. Sorry, Bullock. So really nothing more for us to say except that let's put the bow and set the table for our next broadcast on Friday night.
Friday night is another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk. We're going to be talking about SmackDown Live, and that's really it for this week that we'll have. So really nothing more to add. So Anthony Florio, thank you as always, and thank you guys as always. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms, and until Friday night, this has been Wednesday Night Mayhem. I am good old MF Michael Fletcher, and for all of us here, so long everybody.
Goodbye.